The summer heat worsened the already dire situation. I wandered aimlessly through the forest for what felt like hours and had already given up hope of finding my way back. My phone had no signal, and my attempts to listen for sounds in the hope of hearing the highway noise were futile. Why did I even come here alone? I went mushroom picking, you see. Naturally, I didn't find any, but I wandered so deep into the forest that I got lost. I hadn't packed provisions for such an event, but one way or another, there was some food in the backpack behind me, so I wouldn't have to worry for the next few hours. And the forest is rich in sustenance, after all. I pushed through branches still wet from the rain, stepped over roots, and tried not to stumble over bumps. I don't think anyone will bother looking for me. I don't have many friends, and those who I do have went off in various directions at the beginning of summer. I'm the only one left in the city, without enough money to travel abroad and without a country house to spend the summer outside the city. So I have to rely solely on my own strength. Dusk was setting in, and I still didn't know where to go. Well, I thought, I need to find some shelter where I can spend the night. There's plenty of wildlife in the forest. I've seen rabbits and squirrels a couple of times during my wanderings, but thankfully, I haven't encountered any predators. In order to continue such a favorable tradition, I decided to construct a shelter from spruce branches and huddle under it until morning. It took another couple of hours to find suitable branches, and eventually, the sun finally disappeared below the horizon. Thank goodness, I managed to build some sort of shelter, stashed my backpack there, and was about to climb in myself when suddenly I spotted orange lights in the distance. I counted 3 of them, 2 of which were stationary, while one described a circular trajectory. I still wonder why I didn't listen to common sense and instead left the safety of the shelter to head towards those lights. No matter how much I walked towards them, they didn't get any closer. It felt like with every step I took, they moved away by the same distance. The thought that they might be lights from a forest ranger station crossed my mind, but I dismissed it immediately. Already deciding to head back to my shelter, I suddenly realized that I was lost. This time it wasn't a joke. I didn't have my backpack with provisions, and in the darkness, it was impossible to discern my location. Branches rustled to my left. Panic seized me, my heart raced, and my breath quickened. Involuntarily, I glanced at the lights. That light, looking at it, I felt calmer, my body lightened, and the panic dissipated on its own. Unconsciously, I moved towards them on wobbly legs. Something told me that it was peaceful there. There was light, and therefore warmth. Perhaps there were people there who would help me find my way out. I paid no attention to the fact that the number of lights had increased. I didn't notice that they were all moving rhythmically, nor did I notice that the lights were getting closer. Do you know how deep-sea fish hunt? Oh, it's quite fascinating. In the depths where they dwell, it's very dark, and these fish have a small flashlight on their heads, so to speak, a lure. Actually, it's not really a flashlight or a lure. It's a bone from their dorsal fin, but that's beside the point. So they shine this flashlight in the pitch-black darkness, attracting the attention of smaller fish. And when the fish comes too close, they devour it. I pushed through the branches toward the lights. There they were, just within reach. Then I began to see the outlines of what I had mistaken for lights. These creatures, there were at least a dozen of them, all casting this orange glow. The light I was following, forgetting everything else. I emerged into a spacious clearing where they were. The light dimmed, and I realized my body had returned to me, and I could run, but it was already too late. These creatures surrounded me. They resembled charred demons filled with infernal fire. They crowded around me, their bodies emitting a piercing light that paralyzed me. Needless to say, panic had completely seized me by that point. Tears streamed from my eyes, my legs trembled, and my stomach churned from the stench emanating from these beings. The circle closed in, and I could hear the smacking sound emanating from the monsters. Finally, deciding I had nothing left to lose, I dashed through the crowd of these creatures. Pushing them aside, I felt the burning sensation on exposed parts of my body, felt their claws trying to grab me, heard the sound of my clothes tearing. Branches lashed at my face. I ran with the last of my strength, but the tide didn't relent. Behind me, there was a creaking sound as if someone was dragging their hand across wet rubber, and the smacking, smacking, smacking. I woke up in the bushes on the slope of a mountain near the highway, already late in the morning. Covered in dirt and scratches, I got up and trudged along the road, hoping to hitchhike to the nearest town. There was no question of going back into the forest to search for my backpack. With no idea of my whereabouts, I could barely move my legs. There were burns on my hands, neck, and lower back, and my sweater was torn at the back. Obviously, I must have tripped when I was running from that and tumbled down the slope. Looks like that's what saved me. After some time, I finally caught a ride and safely made it to the town, fortunately not far away. Thankfully, the keys I hadn't put in my backpack didn't fall out of my pants pocket. After talking to a psychologist who naturally didn't believe me, and going through a rehabilitation course, I managed to move on from those events, but that night occasionally resurfaces in my memory, causing me to wake up in a cold sweat. If you, dear listener, have made it to this point, then remember, if ever, finding yourself in the forest at night, no matter the reason, you see a faint orange light piercing through the branches of the trees, then turn away, don't look at them, and run. Run as hard as you can in the opposite direction. Because I know they're still out there.